Do you remember the last time that you were truly heard? Like you were in the presence of someone who was really there with you. And when you were sharing what happened to you, like they were just so there. Like they didn't interrupt you. They were just listening. They gave you, like they created this space for you to just channel something deep within you. And you felt so understood. You felt like they recognized you for who you are. And they asked meaningful questions. And they helped you feel that you matter in this world. When was the last time, my friend, this happened to you? The reason I ask is because so many of us, this is a rare experience, isn't it? So many of us do not feel heard. And that experience of being seen and heard and recognized for who you truly are, that is such a beautiful thing. That's so liberating, right? Because it makes us feel right. It makes us feel that we truly belong, right? And I love that feeling. And I experience so much of it in my life today. But the reason I value it is because it's something that I have not had a lot of in my life. And also because I recognize that it does not happen on its own. That being heard, being seen, being recognized for who you are, is also requires you to step in and live your truth. Living in your truth and communicating your truth, your true feelings, your true thoughts, how you see things, what you believe in, what you disagree with, things that you hate, things that you love, things that you dream about. That's what helps us to create a bond with people. It's not that they're going to come out and listen, although that's a part of it, right? They have to kind of care about you, or they have to be open to something meaningful coming into their lives. But it begins always with you, with finding the courage to live in your truth. And I know how hard that is. Because you might be thinking, well, that's tough. I know that. I'm here for you. And I recognize what you've been through because I've lived it and I live it today. As a survivor of child sexual abuse, someone who's been through cancer, as someone who's been through painful breakups, disappointments, and hurtful moments of betrayal, I know what that's like, my friend. But I also believe that we cannot be defined by hurt. We cannot be defined by trauma. But we can choose to be defined by healing, by living with hope, by tapping into what I believe is our superpower in being happy. Being happy in this moment today, in seeking clarity about your own experience, in showing up at your best in whatever way that means for you, but also about holding on to hope that things can and do change for the better. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm a coach who specializes in giving clarity and building skills for survivors to thrive and live a happier, more fulfilled life. I'm an author of Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. And right now, I want to talk you through how we can shift the conversation. Shift the conversation in such a way that you feel heard with people. Shift the way that you are around them. Shift the way that you communicate. I'm going to walk you through 5 simple things that I believe are necessary to step into your own truth and live in your truth so that you feel heard, so that you feel recognized, so that you are celebrated for who you are, so that you feel that you have that connection with people that you so truly deserve. And even the people who you have deep and strong bonds, we want to go deeper and we want to just bring you even closer. So even if you already feel that you are living in your own truth, that you've nothing to hide, some of what I might share today may just prompt you to think about it in a different way. And when I say shift, I'm talking about these 5 things specifically. When I say shift, the first thing I want to talk about, the S in shift, is the story. Is communicating through story. I know that so often we talk about our experience, right? We can say things like, I feel tired or I feel upset. And so we're kind of talking about our experience. And that doesn't really give someone a true sense of where you're at right now, of what you've been through. Let's say you had a long day and you feel like, I feel tired. But if you go in with the story and you talk about a very specific situation that happened, where someone was just condescending or just talking about how frazzled you were because you had all these million things and you were jumping from one thing to another, and then this person interrupted you. Like when we tell stories, not only do we feel a deeper connection to ourselves, but people can relate to it more, right? Because that's how we've always grown out as humans, right? We shared stories with each other. So let me give you an example. A big change in my life has happened, about 20 years ago. After this huge breakup, this person left me for somebody else, and it was really hurtful. And I was at the lowest place. I was drinking myself every single day. My panic attacks went through the roof. And I guess things changed for me when I realized that I deserve to be loved. So that's one way that I could, talk about it. I could talk about my experience, essentially. Or I could tell you what really happened. And what really happened was I was the slowest place of my life. And, one night, I remember I stayed back at work really late. And I was just trying to finish stuff off because there was so much pressure. And I remember I left the office and I got into my car, and it was so late at night. It was a weeknight, and it was like 9 p.m. and the streets were just empty and it was completely dark. And I was just remember driving on this huge road, 3 or 4 lanes. I was just on my own, and I was just in the car. And as soon as I got out of the car, I got into the car. I was like, all of these frustrations and anger came came back, just surging right through me. And I was just like, just screaming. And I was like, why the hell did you do this? How could you do this to me? And I felt like, just like, all of this anger and just hated myself, because I knew deep inside that she was going to leave me. I knew that she was cheating on me. And I remember just feeling so overwhelmed by this feeling. And I remember I stopped at the red light. And all of a sudden, I've experienced this sensation. Something calm came over me. And I remember saying to myself, this is never happening again. I deserve to be loved. Because I wanna give love and be loved in return. And this gave me such a great comfort, because I knew that something has changed. Now, my life wasn't different, but this realization, knowing that what I truly deep down reserve, I knew that somehow things are going to be different. I'm going to be different. And so I remember I looked up and I saw that the light was now green. And I grabbed hold of the wheel and I pressed my foot on the gas. And I went forward. That's a story. That's a true story of me. So when you hear those two ways that I could talk about it, I could either say, well, I really kind of realized that I deserve to be loved, or I told you a story that really demonstrated this experience. Like this, and this is my truth. So not only do I believe that there is a more impactful way to share this with you, but it is also more authentic to me. So when you talk about story, when you share and tell a story, and it can be a simple story about how your day was, or could be a story that brings in a critical turning point in your life, telling that story, telling how you felt, what things looked like, what you heard. When you're walking people through your experience, when you're adding like the detail, when you're bringing them into that world, that's what makes people connect with you. That's what makes you feel heard, because you are sharing something real, but also you are bringing the person into the conversation. You're making it personal. Talking about your experience makes it very distant. We have to imagine a lot of things, but story brings it out right away in this visceral way that you immediately connect with and move forward. So I want you to tell stories, my friend, because stories will make you feel heard. Communicate through story, and you will notice a profound difference in how you feel and how people feel around you. So that is story, my friend. So the next part of shifting the conversation is H is for hopes and dreams, my friend. Again, I want to ask you, When was the last time you were having a conversation with someone and they said, you know what, my biggest dream that I want to bring to life is this? When was the last time you were talking to someone and they said, you know what I want most of all in the world is this? Isn't it weird that we don't get to hear people talk like this? It's very rare, isn't it, that someone shares their true hopes, their true dreams, their deepest desires. And I really believe that the reason why we don't share that is because we are afraid to be judged. We don't want people to look down on you. We don't want people to place expectations on us. Right? We don't want to like show too much because, someone could make fun of you, or someone could, make you feel small, or like all of those things come up. And some of them are probably true, even though for us survivors, right? For those who've been through trauma, right? The reality is, that's real. Sometimes people around us do make hurtful comments. Sometimes people just aren't nice. That's part of real life, right? But at the same time, what I noticed, when you talk about your hopes and dreams, here's two things that happen. One is people really start to listen. People really start to pay attention because it's rare. Nobody ever talks about what they really want. Why are they really here? Why are they doing the things that they do? Why they want to be a good parent? Why they want to have a successful business? Why are they doing what it is that they do? Why is it that they study? Why is it that they work? Why is it they make decisions? Right? We don't talk about that. We don't bring out. And sometimes that's because we don't really always connect with our own desires, hopes, dreams. I want to ask you, my friend, what is your dream? What do you want to make happen? What is a hope that you hold that is close to your heart? And it doesn't have to be some epic, life-changing thing, change the world. What is it real for you? What's true for you in your life right now? Like, what is it really? Just for you. What do you hope will change? What do you dream about? If you think about what you really, really want, maybe not of what you're doing, but what you really aspire towards. That can be such a beautiful moment. Listen, every time I reconnected with something that was true for me, or found a new greater meaning to my life, it adds another dimension to your life. Having a hope, a dream that you give a voice to, because I am willing to bet there are things that you want, whether that's care and affection from a friend or a loved one, whether that's doing something new, whether that's, making money. You have your own reasons for why that is important to you. And it's time to connect with that or reconnect with that. Because that gives us such a drive It gives us such a different way of looking at life, but it's also a powerful way to connect with people on a deeper level, because when you share your hopes and dreams, people all of a sudden feel in the presence of something greater. And they want to be part of that. And they really tune in because it matters. It matters to you and it matters to them. And it also gives them permission to talk about their own dreams, to talk about their own goals, to talk about their own desires. How cool is that? You are doing someone an incredible favor, by talking about your hopes and dreams. Because by recognizing and sharing your own, you give them permission for them to do the same. Part of shifting the way that we communicate. The I is your inner truths. Listen, sometimes we go through life just living day to day. You go through life and things happen, and you react in a particular way, and or maybe you make plans and you go after them, and we experience these kind of, I guess, rare moments when you learn something about life, about yourself. You have this kind of a realization that is often hard-earned, isn't it? Or maybe you stumbled through something, or you've been working towards something and it didn't work out that way. And you realize something about yourself, or realize something about life, or your endeavors, or your hopes and your dreams. And oftentimes it's not what you expected. This deep truth that lives within you, this maybe a moment of realization, it's often takes us by surprise. The other day I went to the Pride March, which is celebrating diversity of sexuality, of being who you are, right? Being gay or lesbian. And I went there I took my son to the march, and I met people from work. It was just a beautiful day of, the colors flying around, and I just felt great about it. I was always there with my work, and they were doing this kind of segment about, celebrating our people who came to the Pride March, and they were saying to people, do you want to be in the video and say a few words and be the obnoxious person that I am? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And so they said to me, tell us, why are you here? And I guess that took me by surprise. I was like, I thought about it. I was like, why am I here? Because I'm not gay. I don't really have anyone who's super close to me who identifies with that. And I guess I said in the moment, I believe it's about celebrating who you truly are, who you truly believe yourself to be. And of course that's true, right? I really believe that. But it's kind of been sitting with me for a couple of days, couple of weeks now. And what I realized yesterday, I was just in my car driving home from work, and I was just, maybe I saw a pride flag somewhere, and I realized that, I really resonate with this movement because of my own coming out with my sexuality, with my straight sexuality. But my sexuality was so diminished because of going through rape as a child. And I remember, as a teenager and falling in love, I wanted to be close to someone. I wanted to have sex, but I felt so frozen. I couldn't do it. I guess I didn't have that openness or trust even with myself, and it took me a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of struggle and a lot of suffering to go past the point where I felt comfortable with myself, where I began to love myself, where I began to be open about myself and just being sexual and me coming out as my true self. Even though I was straight, but that was a huge moment for me coming out. I earned it. I suffered for it. Countless times I was minimized, I was hurt, countless times I was just felt so miserable and alone. And that inner truth is something that I'm going to share. Well, I'm sharing it with you now, but also we'll be sharing it further, because we'll be sharing it with my wife, I'll be sharing it with just people I care about, because it made me realize something about me that came from a different angle. And I want to check in with you. What is maybe the last thing that you maybe learned about yourself, that you thought about life in a different way, or you thought about your own experience and you kind of saw it in a different light, and it made you appreciate things in a different way? Or it made me learn something about yourself. What is that? Those moments are so precious because they're so hard-earned, and because they often come to us as a result of just carrying something deep within, or striving for something, and then learning that things are different. What is that for you? And how can you share those moments more with people? Because listen, we really listen for these moments, because we all have these realizations. Sometimes we just kind of let them go and we don't let them out. And sometimes they're painful, and sometimes they're uncomfortable, and sometimes they're difficult, but they're also necessary. And listening to someone who's sharing it with you is a precious experience. I want that for you, my friend. I want people to hear your inner truth. I want people to know what you stand for. I want people to know what you've earned. That's what matters. That's what's real. That's what's going to make a huge difference in your life right now. Next up, I want to talk about feeling. So often we communicate in facts. So often we communicate about this is what happened. And we don't allow our feelings to come out and live. We don't allow our feelings to just lead the conversation. I'm not saying allowing emotions to take a sweeping role and just being impulsive and all over the place. Although I've done that before many, many times. But what I mean is allowing our own feelings to come out through the way that you talk, through the way that you feel, through the way that you experience life. And sometimes these feelings may be uncomfortable. And maybe we're not used to even feeling them. Like for me, I know oftentimes and I get this sometimes as well, that I just kind of feel numbed out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is this feeling of emotional numbness. It's this feeling of like, I'm not really feeling anything. Like I want to feel, but I kind of feel kind of caged by this weird, like, kind of glue, you know? And that's where I think it's so vital to reconnect with your own feelings through talking about them, through journaling about them. But if you've never tried journaling about your feelings, I think it's so like vital to just write, like, you know, about something that happened today. Like I might be writing, share, like, listen, I might be just writing in my journal and saying, today I felt so upset and I don't even know why that was. And I just start to just write about what happened. And then something I realized, oh, like this is what set me off. So it's always about allowing yourself to have those feelings surface, allowing them to emerge, allowing them to come out. And sometimes kind of gently nudging them or just giving them a space and talking about them. Sometimes to other people, sometimes maybe even to yourself. Like sometimes I just talk through things out loud because it helps me to make sense of my own experience and helps some of those feelings come out and go, oh, that's how it is. That's important. And when you allow those feelings to come out even a tiny bit more, and when you talk with the presence of those feelings, when you allow the feelings of sometimes discomfort or worry or anger, we are no longer holding them in. That's why I say express, express, express. We gotta let these things come out. Whether they come out through journaling, whether you speak them out loud, whether you're doing something creative with it, whether you are like doing artwork or whether you are, renovating your garage. I don't know what it is for you, but you need to express, 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 my friend. Let these feelings come out. Let them come out in the way that you talk. Let them come out in the way that you are around people, because that's what makes you feel good. That's what makes you feel good. And that's what makes room for feelings of joy, for feelings of hope, for feelings of fun, right? Because when we make room for all feelings, it's not just the negative things that come out. It's also the good things that now have the freedom to come out and live through you and come out and be part of your everyday conversation and be part of how you are around people and be part of what you do in your life each and every day. How you feel needs to be communicated expressly so that people know where you're coming from and know how you truly feel, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And last and not least is a vital component of shifting the conversation is trust. Trust in yourself. Trust, my friend. As I always say, trust is a must. You gotta trust in you. To live in your truth, you gotta trust in yourself. Maybe even if that's not the experience that you've had in life. Maybe you've had the experience of, people who hurt you. Maybe you've been in a place of people who laughed at you. Maybe you know, like me, what shame is like, what being afraid is like, what being scolded and excluded is like. I know that's real. I honor where you've been, my friend. I honor where you're at. But I also honor where you're going. And you gotta trust that you can figure this out. Trust that you'll find a way. You will always, always find a way. Even if you're in the darkness and it feels like there's no hope inside, I want to let you know that hope is there. Hope is that light that you cannot see, and yet it is here. And you will find it. Keep going, my friend. Trust in you. Believe in not even the person that you are today. Believe in the person you want to be tomorrow. Allow to live in your truth. Allow yourself to be who you truly are, to make a difference in this world by sharing your truth, by allowing yourself to shift the conversation through story, to talking about what really happened and being visceral about it, like drawing people in and telling them the detail. That's what matters. That's what makes us connect. Story matters. Talking about your hopes and dreams, because it's so rare and people connect with it because it comes from somewhere deep within and it's meaningful, and people, like, we want to know that. Then your inner truths, things that you've had earned, things that you've realized about yourself or the world around you or your experience. It matters. We need to know that. That's what makes people listen and connect with who you are and what truly matters in your life right now. Then feeling, speaking through feeling, living through feeling, finding out what is really true to you and allowing that to come out, allowing yourself to feel. And when we allow ourselves to feel some of the more negative things, we also give room for the beautiful things in your life. And last but not least, trusting yourself to finding your own way, to living your truth. That's who you are, my friend. That's what we want to be doing. These are the skills that we can develop ourselves to support you in who you are in your own moment of life, of finding your own truth. But ultimately, we're doing this so that you feel understood, so that you feel that something that you feel that connection to your own higher self. You feel that connection with other people. You feel that they get you. You feel like they see you. They feel like they hear you. They recognize you for who you truly are. And in that moment, you are, that reflection comes back at you. And you recognize yourself for being who you are. That is the moment of true change. That is the moment of true transformation. That's what I believe in. That's why I aspire and support people in doing. That's why I created my coaching program called Clarity First, to build the skills and capabilities to not only survive, because we have that, but really to thrive, to move forward in a way that makes you feel alive, but a greater sense of belonging. We have clarity about everything that you're doing in your life right now, why it matters, and redirecting your energy towards things that you truly believe in, towards things that make you feel fulfilled, towards the things that make you feel like you're making an impact, a positive impact on this world, and you feel that sense of love, that sense of hope, that sense of giving and belonging in your life right now. If you want to find out more about my coaching program, because that's not for everyone, because it's a structured curriculum. It's 12 sessions. I don't do one-offs. I work through a very specific curriculum that I've developed that will support you in getting to where you want to get to fast, in living a greater life that is not oriented on hurt, but will oriented towards healing and towards living a happier, more fulfilled life where you know that you truly belong. These are 12 sessions and we work on Zoom. And I don't know if this is for you, but I urge you to find out. Go to my website at powertobehappy.com and click on the Clarity First link. Now apply for a free strategy session because I want to make sure that it's going to be value for you. Because if you're going to make the investment of your time and your money and your energy, I want to make sure it's the right thing for you, but I also want to make sure it's the right thing for me. Because I also only want to work with people who truly believe and want to change their life in a positive way. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. Thank you for being here. Talk soon.